Hi, Team Flyer. Welcome back to the Always Clear podcast. I'm your host, Ariadna, and we are back for the final Motivational Monday on season 4. Goodness gracious. It's also wrapping up the year 2022. How about that? How is time a thing? Time is not a thing. I feel like I'm going to talk about that in my last episode of the season, because time is definitely not a thing. But before we head on into a Go to Fly episode that comes out Wednesday, this is Motivational Monday, so let's dive into today's quote. Today's quote is from Monsters at Work. So, you know me, big Disney and Pixar fan. So, this is from the movie Monsters, Inc. And then they did Monsters University. And then they did a TV show called Monsters at Work. And it is just the best TV show made for, of course, kids, but also for adults. In continuation of the Monsters world in that particular case. And it's absolutely endearing. It's so funny and sweet. And we definitely need more seasons and more episodes. Disney, Pixar, if you're listening, please, more Monsters at Work. Without a doubt. So one of their quotes is, "It's laughter thereafter." And I kind of changed it up a little bit to, "It's laughter we're after." And my biggest takeaway for this one, I really want to include this one this season and this year, 2022, because I feel like it's a heavy, huge, wonderful reminder for me, myself, and I, for my future self, my present self, my past selves, all my selves, and for anyone who is listening, because, you know, we align at this particular moment in time. And, to have fun. To legit have fun. Because that's definitely one of the life lessons I have taken my long, sweet time to understand and to learn. And I feel like this year definitely made sure that I did a lot of that, and I understood what fun is. Not that you have to understand fun, but I feel like when you come from a background of full-on survival mode, a full-on work, and hustle mentality that we were taught, you know, to have fun, it's kind of like you have to debunk some myths. You know, it's like the same goes about like being productive. You always have to be working and always have to be on it, whereas like resting is also productive. So debunking myths of having fun and how to have fun is also a big one this year. And it was very interesting with a lot of self-reflection in that sense. So I saw this quote, "It's laughter thereafter." And I adored it so much because it just brought me into this idea of reminding myself that we're after having fun, after laughing every single day. Like the amount of endorphins and hormones releasing and all the fun stuff that laughing has, and it's so beneficial to us. It's just outstanding, and I feel like we need to have it more in mind. Before I start with some questions precisely that I have here on my notes, I definitely remember a few years ago, I was in my mid-20s, and I was living with roommates. I had a young roommate at that time. I think this roommate was early 20s. Like, this person was about 5-6 years younger than me, I want to say. And their mom came into town, and their mom came into my room and saw the stuffed animal, saw the Winnie the Pooh, if I had one in that moment. I've had one a big part of my life, but the current one I've had, which I mentioned in previous episodes, came years after that. But point being, stuffed animals, Disney stuffed animals most likely. I'm assuming toys and collectibles and, you know, maybe Sanrio stuff and things like that. You know what I mean? It was very, very expressing myself and what I believe in, and just very genuinely me kind of room. And their mom reminded me again, hey, always be yourself. Remember to keep that spark alive. Remember to keep that inner child alive. And that moment in time, before I started my humongous healing pattern, journey, cycle, etc., because I've been healing for many, many years, you know, different parts of me and things like that. And I've been in therapy for many, many years and I adore it. It's just, it wasn't as deep as it is right now, as has been the previous years. So when that happened and she told me this, it stuck to me years after. Obviously, that's why I'm telling the story today. And the biggest thing for me was like, of course I'm going to keep my inner child alive, and of course I'm going to keep going. And she said the world is very dark, and it makes you be dark really fast. It makes you like, it shuns your light really, really fast. And I'm thinking, like, after all the things I've already been through about having, an abusive childhood or teenagehood, and, being homeless and being abused and being sexually abused and, doing all these things in it's out, moving, what's it called? Immigrating, I was going to say, is that the word? When you immigrate, I feel like I'm confusing Spanish and English right now. Immigrar? When you become an immigrant, basically. From one country to another, from when you start brand new in a new city without knowing anybody, being kicked out of your house, like all these sorts of things, you know what I mean? After all that, and I'm like, of course I'm going to always believe and I'm always keep going. And once again, this was more or less, I did already have my blog and I already started doing some conferences, and I was a keynote speaker by then as well, and I was already taking matters to my own hand when it came to staying up for mental health, for people who've been abused and all these sorts of things. So I was like, yeah, of course I'm going to keep on believing, keep on going, and like keep my inner child alive. Like, of course, like after all I've been through. So fast forward to where I am now, and the dark became darker, and the abuse became abusier. I know it's not a word, but bear with me. A lot of things got worse. Health got worse. Mental health got worse. There was a lot of beautiful moments, don't get me wrong. It wasn't all pure darkness. But the darkness did come. And pandemic did happen, which no one called that one, so to speak. And if that wasn't enough, the more you grow, the more responsibilities you have. And people become darker. People hang on to the news a little too tightly, if you know what I mean. And they start fights where you don't need to be any fights, where there's no need to do any of the sort. It's like, am I the drama? Am I the drama? No, this is just people, wanting to start a fire where there's no way, there's no matches and light. You know what I mean? So as I reflected through the story, and I reflected telling this story right now in this episode, I was like, you know what? I look around my room to this very day, now in my mid-30s, so this is like definitely 10 years ago, this story. Goodness gracious, where does time go? I don't know. It's not real. I keep saying it's not real. Time is non-existent. But point being, I do have a Winnie the Pooh stuffed animal. I have a Stitch stuffed animal. I have more Disney tattoos. I have my inner child everywhere. I have a Paw Patrol advent calendar. I mean, come on. I have Legos and a Batman figure, and Legos as like Encanto Legos, Winnie the Pooh Legos. You know what I mean? I could have easily had, I don't know, a random building from New York, Empire State Building, for example, because I know those Legos exist, or the Eiffel Tower, or like the London Bridge. No, I have the Encanto house. And a whole lot of things. So my room generally, give or take, kind of looks the same. My space generally, give or take, looks the same, even there's a lot of new things in the mix, because that was 10 years ago and I must have moved literally about 40 to 50 times in 10 years because life. As I reflected, once again, point of the story, I also decided since that very day and beyond, aka Toy Story, to Infinity and Beyond, to keep my essence as well. To make sure that within the darkness that is life, within all the environment that's around me, with messy landlords, with messy roommates, with a messy living situation, to continue seeing the light and being the light and understand that it goes beyond the stuffed animals. I don't want to use my stuffed animals or my inner child sparks all around me as a shield or as a mask. I would rather have them as a tool to be my most best happiest self, while I also understand that I have to take action, forward action, to continue keeping that inner spark alive. So it's not just enough to have a stuffed animal and hug it and play with it, or do Legos with Encanto or Winnie the Pooh, or, anything else of the sort. Or, even watch Disney as a mid 30 something year old. What matters, what's important, what is needed is also to have time to play, to do something that sparks your day to day, to be less about that hustle culture, to be less about that drama, and more towards what would make your inner child super duper happy. How can you release some of that stress that you have, because you are an adult and you do think about bills and you do think about insurance and you do think about health and so on and so forth. How can we make it so your days are filled with more joy and more laughter? And that, Team Flyer, has been my story for the past 10 years and then some. My dear best friend, my dear husband, way back when we were just friends, he's the first provider of having fun every single day. The first person I've met on a consistent basis who has told me since day one I need to have more fun, and he still tells me this, very much so, because it's still a lesson that needs to be learned by me. I definitely feel a lot more in tune with myself. There's so many times that I just catch myself enjoying that video game, playing Animal Crossing, playing Mario Kart, enjoying making that puzzle, enjoying coloring, and not to mention, quote unquote kid related activities. It's basically just doing something that's so enjoyable for me at that moment that I forget everything else. And I tune into my best version of myself, which is joy, which is ease, which is laughter, which is happiness. So once again, going back to Monsters at Work, it's laughter thereafter. I freaking adore that. I don't know if that's going to be a potential tattoo idea, to be honest, because you know me and tattoos. But I think that's a heck of a reminder. It's laughter we're after. I want to ask you as well, how much fun have you had recently? Because it seems the older we get, the less fun we have. And that's just not fair. And once again, why do we assume that we're too old to have fun? Why is it something that oh no, you shouldn't be, why would you get a Paw Patrol advent calendar? Why would I not? I know I didn't grow up with Paw Patrol, but have so many good memories because of kids that I've been with, I was going to say, babysat and au paired and just have had in my life when they were little kids, because they're not so little anymore. They were under my care and they freaking adored Paw Patrol, and I was just and that's what sparks me up. So yeah, it's not a thing I had when I was a child because it didn't exist. But I'm why can't I have that spark of joy that I can look at it in my room and oh my God, it's Paw Patrol, and I sing the song or something like that. Why am I supposed to be, quote unquote, too old to wear XYZ, to listen to XYZ? There shouldn't be a thing, you know what I mean? We think that life is what it's, sorry, I can't even, I'm too worked up already. We think that life is too serious, that's super well scheduled, and that we are no longer allowed to prioritize our fun after the age of X. I don't know, after the age of 21 or 25 or 30 or the first moment you have kids. I don't know. And it makes no sense, because I've seen a lot of adults with kids and they're oh my God, I'm not supposed to have fun, or I can't have fun because I have a kid. I'm it's not the moment you're supposed to have the most fun. Yeah, I believe in discipline and gentle parenting. I believe in Montessori and all these wonderful things and tools, and of course, and you want your kids to have that discipline and have respect, of course. But isn't also the fun part is to actually have fun with your child and use that imagination and see everything through their eyes when they see the world for the first time? Isn't that something wonderful about that? And that just like gets me questioning everything. I'm like, are we actually living? Are we keeping ourselves far too busy and distracted at all times? Are we doing like, a cycle of like busy, busy, busy all the time so we are actually dead inside? Like, once again, pre-pandemic, that was real. Like, I'm sure most of us were just like doing the thing we need to do, doing the 9 to 5, doing the dinner, doing the thing, doing the dance, blah, 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 and not stopping to like smell the roses or give ourselves self-appreciation or self-love. And that's a whole different, side conversation to have. But most of all, to have fun. And post-pandemic world that we live in, over 1,000 days, because apparently TikTok does remind me of how many days, because it was a trend apparently. Whether we like it or not, it did affect us. It did change the world. And I truly believe that not only time is not real, I believe that we're meant to have more fun. I believe that things are meant to come to us with ease and joy. And the more fun we have, the more present we have. And the thing is, going back to the idea of what fun is scrolling through social media fun? Is it really fun? Or is it something that kept us busy? Hanging out with people, coworkers, etc. These people acquaintances, let's call them. Because you have to, or you feel like, what are they going to say in the office? Or what is my mother-in-law going to say? Or what is my blah, blah going to say? And then you say, hey, let's do that again. That was fun. That wasn't fun. That dinner, that coffee, that, play date, that wasn't fun. It is, I think the definition from what I've really quickly read in my notes I have, that fun is quote unquote amusement and a light-hearted pleasure, unquote. Something for kids to have in play areas. And I'm like, excuse you, that's not fun. Like, fun is a feeling, not an activity. First of all, it's not something to as a play area, like let's go bowling or, play pool or darts or watch football or play football or things like that. No, it's a feeling. And it's not lighthearted pleasure. This is why a lot of the people in my life and people that I just generally that I know, because I did quiz you all before recording this, and even with myself, have said scrolling through social media is fun. And you're like, to what extent is scrolling through social media giving you joy? Real life joy. And once again, one of the first questions I asked you, when was the last time you really experienced joy? Fun is the secret to feeling alive. Once again, fun is a feeling, not an activity. So what illuminates you from the inside? What gets you to have that sunshine kind of feeling? Because that's what fun feels like. That lightness, that joy, that radiance, that glowing within. That's what fun is. It's... There are 3 factors when it comes to having fun: playfulness, connection, and flow. When we have fun, our guard is down and we're not taking ourselves too seriously. And that's something, once again, that I'm learning, because I take myself way too seriously 99% of the time. And I know if I really have another deep reflection, it's gone from 99 to a 59, for example. I'm not saying halfway there by any means, because I'm still the essence of me. However, I do keep in mind that the more I not schedule fun, because fun is not meant to be scheduled, but the more I allow myself to add an activity that I know is going to bring me that joy, that essence, that feeling of fun, the easier my life will be. And that, once again, is something that 2022 has taught me more, not more than anything precisely, but definitely one of the biggest lessons. The key to having fun and being more present with the idea of having fun. Like, the essence is just having fun. And fun can look like anything to you. I just give you 1,000 ideas and options of what fun looks like to me, of what fun actually is for me. But it goes beyond that. it goes beyond coloring or playing Animal Crossing, for example. No, it could be watching a movie, going to the cinema. It can be going to the beach. It could be rollerblading. It could be designing clothes. Anything of the sort that makes your heart light up, without a doubt. One of the things that came up on my TikTok, there were 2 TikToks that I wanted to mention, and one of them was there was this mom who let her kids draw with chalk all over these hardwood floors inside her house. And you see there was an area in the house where it was full of chalk, million colors. They erase, they put it again, they erase it, they put it again, they erase it, they put it again. You know what I mean? Because when she was a kid, she explained that everything was like a no, don't do this, and you're too much, and no, don't do that, and stay still, and blah, blah, blah. Where she was like, no, I'm going to let my kids express themselves. And the moment she let her kids do that, she found herself often on the floor, also playing with chalk and things like that. And in every single comment, not every single one, let's put it that way, a lot of the comments you could read, oh my god, the hardwood floors, 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 oh my god, the hardwood floors. Or oh my god, you must be really rich because you have to replace the hardwood floors, you have to have the money, oh my god, show me you have money without telling me you have money, or that whole thing, right? And I'm like, isn't this the point? Isn't this someone missing the point? Sorry, this is not the point. This is what's happening. No, the point is, she's letting her children express themselves in the most kid-like way possible, in the most freeing way possible, in her house. One, it's not my house. It's not your house. It's not their house. It's the mom's house. You know what I mean? And the dad's, if he's in the picture. I don't know. She was only talking about herself. But point being, she chose to raise them up that way. She chose to be like, hey, you can color in this area of the house. Be free. Do what you need to do. And her consequences of changing the hardwood floors, then she'll deal with the consequences after. The beauty of allowing her kids to express themselves with chalk indoors on that floor is for them to express themselves and just to have fun in that moment. Because that is healthier. That's going to be a healthier connection to her children than don't do that. Why did you do that? Well, that's only outside. And the whole, backlash on how the majority of us were actually raised. That's where the change happens. And then she realized, oh my god, I'm actually having fun, playing with chalk. I haven't done this since I was 10. Or, she stopped when she was 5 or something because she was always being yelled at for playing with chalk. The other thing I saw on TikTok was this 30-year-old. She just turned 30. And she's like, for my 30th birthday, I invited myself to go see Disney on Ice. And she wrote something like, don't judge me, or something like that. And I'm like, girl, if that's the way you want to celebrate your 30th birthday, to see Disney on Ice, then go do it. That's how you have fun. Why are these things just meant to be when you have kids, or you have, nephews and nieces or grandkids or whatever? It's no. If Disney on Ice is something that lights you up and you're just going to be the happiest little big kid around turning 30 or 40 or 60, then just go do it. As long as obviously respectful, but I mean, that goes beyond saying, without saying, whatever, have fun. Go to Disney on Ice. I thought it was really, really cool. She did get a lot of hate comments, and it's nope, did not pass the vibe check. Nope. She ain't hurting anyone. She's just being herself. So let's keep on going. What else? Other examples that I was thinking about. I do have one with a Big Bang Theory. We're currently doing a rewatch to some extent. And it does get on my nerves when the girls tease the boys because they're into comics and all these sorts of things. And I'm like, why? And not because I'm into comics or into quote-unquote nerdy things. I'm saying hey, they're just expressing themselves. They're just being who they want to be. And that doesn't really hurt you. So once again, have fun. Just have fun. So the more fun you have, that's the secret to life right here. One of the secrets to life. The more fun you have, the more present you are. Because you're so engaged and focused in what you are doing in that moment that you're truly only alive and living only for that moment. You're definitely in the zone. We can be more present, yes, of course, through yoga and mindset rituals. But when you think of yourself having fun, you know that you are in that present moment. That's the thing. That's the beauty of having fun. So fun is good. Fun is a result of how we thrive. It is an energy. It is a glow. It is the fire that ignites us, that's so healthy, that makes us want more. We live better. Fun unites us too, because with fun we can connect with people of all ages and backgrounds. And that can go from going to a Lizzo concert, to a Taylor Swift concert, to a Harry Styles concert, to stand-up shows, premieres, movies, talking about your favorite TV shows. All these sorts of things that are outlets of fun can connect us with so many people simply because we're having fun together. And not only that, it makes you relaxed and happy too. Like, it's definitely something that like we need to put on our list, but without actually scheduling in like, oh yeah, every single day from 5 to 6 I'm gonna have fun. No, it's adding an activity in your life for you to be like, oh, have fun doing this activity. It's like when we were kids and we did a million activities. We went to soccer or gymnastics or, English class or Spanish class or whatever. Yeah, some of those things were as an obligation because you have to learn a new language or whatever, but other things you probably did because you really wanted to. Maybe you did really want to continue gymnastics or want to continue skateboarding lessons or want to continue bike riding or something like that, Like, this is your opportunity for you to remember and take advantage of this moment in time to say, what are the things I really like to do? What makes me feel the most alive? What makes me laugh? And let's prioritize this. Let's prioritize things that make me feel the most alive. It is laughter we are after. Not only Monsters Inc. and Monsters University and Monsters at Work specifically, in general, in life, and in everything that we do. Oh my gosh, chills and having fun, I swear. So to wrap it up, to have fun is how we thrive. It's one of the magical keys in life. And it's something I definitely want you to keep in mind in how are you adding more fun to your life? That's definitely the question for this episode. How do I add more fun into my life? Because you'll soon see the more fun you have, the easier, more magical life is. And if you don't believe me, start doing things that are fun for you, and then we'll talk. Give it a month, give it 2 months, give it a few months, and you'll see. You'll come back and be like, whoa. Because I can tell you one thing, 2022, if I really think about it out loud, it was fun. And that just makes me super proud and happy for myself. Because I was really, really present. And that's just the best gift I can ever give myself. Right? So, thank you so much for listening. The next time you listen to this episode, count how many times I've said fun, because I feel like I said fun so many times. And I'm not saying don't turn it into a drinking game. I'm not a big drinker or fan by any means. I mean, you do you. Just please be responsible while drinking. Turn it into a different kind of game. For every time I do say fun, write something you're grateful for. Write an activity that's fun for you. See? Every time I say fun, write a fun activity that you want to do. And also, I think, talking about fun activities, let's talk about the word fearless for 2 seconds. There's this thing called rejection therapy, and we're going to talk about it further ahead. But point is, if you can Google it, you can look it up. But it's definitely an idea for you to actually have in mind while making a list of activities that are really fun for you, because with rejection therapy is for you to go outside your comfort zone and do things that you wouldn't, once again, typically do. And some of these ideas aren't like, they're not out there ideas. They're just ideas like, oh, let me go to like a new Pilates class. Like, oh, I always wanted to try painting, or I always wanted to try singing. I always wanted to do karaoke. Something like that. Because those two ideas line up together. So yeah. All right, there, my loves. Thank you so much for joining us again. Another beautiful Monday or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whenever it is that you're listening to this, and whatever year it is, whatever moment it is. Go out there, have some fun. Please let me know how you are doing it right here, right now. How are you adding more fun into your life? Hug tighter, love stronger. This is your host, Ariadna. Have a beautiful day, evening, etc. Let's do this. Always believe. Love always. From the Always Believer. Till next time. Bye-bye.